Hi, this is Justin Whitaker for justinmwhitaker.com. You're listening to the Laundry Time Podcast. So today I thought I would pick up on a post from Fred Wilson, probably about a week ago, on the future of media. Fred put up a Prezzi presentation where he outlined where he saw the new media and blogging space going in the future, what he thought the future of media was going to be. And there were really four pillars that he laid out. The first was microchunks. The second was free it. The third was syndication. And the last one was monetization. Where I think he's absolutely right is on the microchunking. It seems to me that where things are going, people are consuming more and more information on a mobile device. And if that's the case, then the long format blog post really doesn't make sense. You don't really want a lot of people staring at a very small screen for a long time. It just doesn't work into the way people are actually using their mobile devices. What you want to do is you want to have actually short, fast chunks of information that you can release iteratively if you have to. So microchunking seems like it's the appropriate way to go as we're shifting from a desktop-centric to a cloud and mobile-centric lifestyle. So I think he's dead on about that. The free content, well, a lot of the blog content, a lot of the new media content is free anyway. They may be thinking more along the lines of paywalls, and that may not necessarily be the right way to go if we're trying to produce fast chunks of information and get it distributed very quickly. The syndication piece is really interesting because a lot of things are syndicated already. There's a lot of ways to share information. I'm not sure that it's necessarily anything new, but particularly since things like RSS feeds are kind of dying out. But the more interesting piece is that some of these platforms have better syndication engines than others. If you have the right sort of content, something like Tumblr has a massive syndication engine. Your really remarkable content can get shared a couple thousand times if it gets in front of the right community on Tumblr. So there may be more opportunities to sort of piece together syndication engines on these different platforms. Storify has actually a pretty decent way of sharing everything as well. So Tumblr's not the only one. But for these first 3 points, it sort of looks like Fred Wilson is saying, well, Tumblr's the future. If you see where things are going, services like Tumblr are where the future is going. And I don't think he's necessarily wrong about that. Now, the last point, monetization, is really interesting because he's already said that content needs to be free. But that doesn't mean that the content can't be wrapped up and repurposed into something that may be monetized. Maybe I can produce a lot of micro chunks of content that I produce into an ebook, or that I post into a pay for newsletter, or I put into a webinar or in a audio or video course, something like that, where you're actually repurposing the content in such a way that you can actually charge for it. That seems like a really clever way of getting around the whole concept of paywalls, taking a step back and saying, we're going to be producing all this really short form content, and then we're going to wrap it up into something that people can use either as a summary or encapsulate it somehow, where the value of all this microchunk content is pulled together and people might actually pay for it because the wrapper that I have around the content actually adds value. So that's what Fred thinks the future of media is, and I can't say I really disagree. But it's kind of interesting that Fred basically says that the future of media is something like Tumblr, particularly since I believe that his venture capital firm actually is one of the investors in Tumblr. Doesn't mean he's wrong, just means that he's a little prescient about where the media is going. I'm Justin Whitaker for justinmwhitaker.com. Thanks for listening.